This is Boogie2988. His life is a constant uphill battle. Whether that be receiving treatment for his undiagnosed cancer, so forthcoming that he openly shares detailed events surrounding years of childhood abuse that he later backpedals, being so naive and gullible that he sinks all of his life savings into cryptocurrency that inevitably backfires on him, leaving him destitute, being so confident in the former that he shares with his audience how incredibly wealthy he is, having to once again backpedal the previous statement as he begs for money from his audience, or repeating the same pattern of abuse by then scamming his own audience into cryptocurrency to pay for his undiagnosed cancer. The list could go on. Actually, I think I just about covered it. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. No, but on a serious note, I think we are all aware that scamming your own audience out of their money is pretty detrimental to your bottom line. And lying about a very serious and life-threatening diagnosis for sympathy and money will probably end in some hurt feelings and mixed or negative reviews. As far as his abuse allegations, I'm not going to touch that. Wait. Fuck, I didn't mean it like... And yes, editor, I realize that I'm downplaying the severity of the situation. Look, if you think what Boogie did wasn't that bad, or that maybe he really does have cancer, then you fucking donate all of your money to help him out. Just don't be surprised if he shows back up a month later in better health, not that anyone could tell, and showing off his second Thanos glove to make a pair. Now, speaking of cancer, I want to talk about my channel for a moment. You guys did a fantastic job getting us to 1,000 subs, and we are still continuing to grow. But can we make it 5,000? If you believe hard enough, while actively spamming my videos to strangers, sure. You know, just consider it. Realistically, it's hard to believe that anyone could continue to defend his actions. On one hand, if you are a fan of Boogie and truly believe in the declining physical and mental health, I completely understand why you're still showing support. You want to see the man in a better place, and I can't fault you for that, but we need to take a step back and consider if it's possible he is lying, as he has done before. Is it worth it to risk your own livelihood when part of the problem may be the successful manipulation of his own fan base? For those of you possibly in the dark about whatever the fuck I'm talking about, Boogie prematurely announced his cancer diagnosis back in November of 2022, although this is not when the channel began its massive decline. It is speculated that this may have been the final nail in the coffin, given the context we have now. The context I'm speaking of is an admittance during a LOLCal live stream that Boogie was eventually coaxed into admitting that he hadn't been officially diagnosed with cancer. This following a scheme in which Boogie promoted a meme cryptocurrency and unintentionally scammed many of his fans out of money, which was covered by CoffeeZilla, a channel known for sleuthing out and exposing similar scams, Boogie's included. During the video in question, Coffee offers a suggestion that Boogie take half of the money he was offered for the scam and give it back to the community, in which Boogie declined, stating that he was going to use it to pay for his medical bills. Now, I'm only speculating, but I believe he's referring to the treatment he's receiving for, in case you've already forgotten, the cancer he is yet to be diagnosed with. Now, I don't think I need to hold your hand and walk you to the door about how fucked this is. If I'm correct, it either means that the hospital is actively treating a form of cancer that they can't be sure of. I will admit I'm certainly no expert when it comes to cancer, the medical field, or the medical field's treatment of cancer, and you can correct me for all of this if I'm wrong, but I think it would be wild to begin actively treating a patient for something they have yet to verify. Now, although I definitely believe that our healthcare system would gladly give you medicine for an ailment that they have yet to properly diagnose, as long as they can bill you for it, do I think that they did this to Boogie? I don't really know, but that's okay because my opinion doesn't actually matter. What does matter is what we know now, the deceit and excuses for nearly 2 years. Whether a partial truth or an outright lie, it was created for your sympathy, your support, possibly even your money, and what you choose to do with this information isn't for my understanding. What needs to be shared, though, is the unsung heroes that deserve to be spoken of. Whether out of malice or for truth, whether it was for entertainment or acknowledgement, some amazing creators buried their heads in research, stood on their convictions, or poked and prodded the bear until finally exposing the truth, giving us the much-needed closure and clarification to move forward. From Moist Critical and his Australian alter ego Jackson Clark heavily criticizing Boogie on his lifestyle choices or his ability to make money on YouTube once again, if he's willing to put the effort forth, or being the first to suggest that Boogie may not be entirely truthful or forthcoming with the information surrounding his diagnosis. To Destiny, who directly confronted Boogie on a YLYL podcast, questioning his diagnosis and being the first to offer money towards his treatment just to prove that he did in fact have cancer. Let's also not forget CoffeeZilla, who interviewed Boogie on the crypto scam and offered a sort of olive branch or way to make amends in some way that Boogie outright rejected. And last but not least, we can't forget Keemstar, or the other guys behind YLYL who prodded or even outright bullied Boogie into a confession, admitting his wrongdoing and hopefully saving your wallets and sympathies for others who really are in a difficult spot. I think regardless of what you or I think of these guys, they at least deserve to be recognized. They deserve to be recognized not only for their actions to pull the truth out of Boogie, but for every achievement they have made on this platform. Charlie is a beacon of information. Without his interests in the ever-changing atmosphere surrounding the internet and internet culture, I may not be aware of most things happening in YouTube or any platform outside of it. Destiny, as fearless in his endeavors and unapologetic or afraid to share his opinions, can be so inspiring to those that fear speaking out or having a voice, regardless of where you stand on a topic. CoffeeZilla, in his consistent dedication to finding the truth, to bringing the darkness to the light and helping spread awareness. And Keemstar, okay, well, he's a bit of an asshole, but so am I, so who am I to judge? Not to mention, I hate to admit it, but sometimes he's actually semi-funny. Where Boogie is right now, it's hard to believe that he's going to change his ways. He may say so, but we've heard this from him before. So until he's willing to take responsibility for his own mistakes and stop asking for the sympathy and handouts, until he can buckle down and start making content on his own again, until we can go 1 year or 1 month or even 1 day without him sharing more personal information that no one but himself needed to be aware of, I don't think he's going to change. He's nearly 50 years old, and even now, the problems of his past and his inability to work to make his life better seems to foreshadow what his future will be. Maybe it's possible that something in his mind is incapable of fixing himself, or maybe he just doesn't want to. Our last YLYL saw Boogie on after being fired by Keemstar, accused, mocked, and interrogated. He was barely able to hold it together, let alone be transparent or honest. And at the very end, he lost his shit in such an incredible manner that his girlfriend and roommate were forced to shut his internet off for fear of him taking it too far. Hopefully he can change, but it seems unlikely. Now, I'm curious what you think. Do you support Boogie? Do you want to see him get better? Do you have any expectations of that happening, or will it be like this forever? Some people have stated that this was the final nail in the coffin. Me personally, I think he'll continue to find a way to survive, even if it is off of a handful of supporters he still has left. Hey, if you stuck around this long, you guys are awesome. Over 1,000 subs, and it's still going. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to help me reach my next goal of 5,000, and don't forget to like and share. Thank you to my patrons, Jessica and Joe, and a shout out to the awesome artist and editor. Links will be in the description, but until next time, be well.